Watch the Game podcast. It's your man L.A. Cheatham.
Benjamin Danica, what's going on, good people? What's going on?
Well, we might keep it kind of light tonight, man. Kind of short. My man Starang had a good time last week with us, so he's looking forward to getting up with us again. It's gonna be interesting because I would like to get him back on before the Super Bowl.
We gotta give him a plaque and put him on the wall of fame because he was the first guest.
Yeah, he working on some things. He critiqued his performance from last week, and he said he got some technicals he need to check into and get himself right before he want to join us more often. But I enjoyed having him on. His opinions and his outlook on things really added a really good dimension to what we're doing here. Watch the Game podcast.
Hey, man, listen, as long as he ain't come on with average, not well thought out, just hot takes that he heard on ESPN 1000 or the score 670, we can talk all day. So I'm good. Anybody like that, I'd probably be hitting the mute button on them or something like that if they was.
Yeah. Hey man, we talk about, like I say, that's my man. I go to a lot of events with him and his brothers, sporting events anyway. I mean, we went to a Bears game. I kind of hung out with them guys, pay-per-view boxing and stuff like that. They're my guys, some pretty good cats, pretty good guys to hang out and kick it with. But like I said, he's looking to join us again. Hopefully, we'll be getting back before the Super Bowl. He can get his things figured out. So, Starang, if you checking us out right now, what's up?
Yo.
Great having you on. Great having you on last week. Looking forward to having you back. One thing me and you talked about, I'm gonna, kind of keep our conversations a little bit more organic. We have our little production, mini production meetings before we go on. But tonight we're gonna kind of gonna have to let it all out. You know what I'm saying? One thing you brought up to my attention weeks ago, kind of dampened my spirits, and you told me that the NCAA college football game has been pushed back for another year.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking forward to picking the game up in July, but when will you get that information from?
That came from Cutter Pac-Man, but it's all over the net. Operation Sports is one of the gaming websites we kind of frequent often to see what's going on, and I guess they kind of behind on development, and instead of rushing to get it out, they said they just gonna take a whole nother year, so it ain't coming out to July 2024 now. So we got, what's this, 23? Yeah, we got a whole nother year and about almost 2 years, since we're at the top of the year to get to it. But when it do come out, I'll be looking forward to doing my franchise mode and making my probably ain't not a made up school, but probably go to Florida State, Colorado with Coach Prime, or Michigan, and I'm gonna throw the ball 67 times a game, and then we ain't gonna have no running back.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it coming out on the next gen, but the NCAA. Well, I don't even remember if that's going to be the name of the college football game.
I think it's just college football this time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of disappointed me, man, when you dropped that bomb on me, because I was looking forward right down to a stretch of the football season, the college football season. I was kind of crossed my mind. I was just thinking, just in a few months' time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We might be able to play a college football game on the video, on college football video game. And I was disappointed when you told me they pushed it back. So they pushed it back.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's be a throwback to. I know you remember Bill Walsh college football, and when it was EASN, it wasn't EA Sports. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. And what I'm really looking forward to is the college basketball game, because that's coming right after the football game. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. It's like I say, I was just disappointed. So I guess now that you say that, you got to figure they probably gonna, whatever the situation, they probably gonna push the college college basketball gonna have to wait after that too, because they're probably gonna wait on to see check the success of the college football game, and then we were gonna probably get those titles back. But guess we gotta wait another year. Um, Pen, I get with you tonight, man. I got a confession to make,
What's up? What's up?
and the confession is it's kind of hard watching the game. You know, I fell asleep on I think on every game this past weekend, uh, Saturday and Sunday. But through the power of YouTube, I was able to go back and watch the
Uh huh.
the highlight games, the 10 minute, 15-minute sessions, and they do a pretty good job of kind of showing us, the big plays, the key moments of each game, and then alongside with going to the statistics and the box scores, I was able to be assisted by them things. One thing that stand consistent about football, we got this a podcast is called Watch the Game for a reason, because the narrative week in and week out, year in and year out, is the quarterback position.
Right. Right.
You got 22 guys on the field at any given time, defense, offense, special teams. 11 guys on each side. The one guy is getting all of the hype, a lot of the blame, and a lot of the prestige is the quarterback. Okay, I understand. But when I looked at the statistics of these four games that we had this past weekend, the that led, teams that rushed the football the best won every game, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And each game had its own story. Uh, if we can elaborate on them a little bit, we go back to game, or was it number one? What was it?
Chiefs and the Jags.
Case?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, what's your take on that game, the Chiefs and Jaguars? What was your take on that one?
Well, it's just amazing to me how the Chiefs just keep turning out productive running backs. I mean, you go back to what's our man that came to the Bears? Can't remember the name.
Damian Williams.
Yeah,
Damian Williams.
it should have been like Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, he should have been Super Bowl MVP, I believe. Who did they beat that? Who did the Chiefs beat in the Super Bowl?
49ers. The
The
49ers.
49ers,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he
They
should have
beat the
been
49ers. Yeah,
he
yeah.
should have been Super Bowl MVP then. You remember they had Shady McCoy on that team. Then they followed it up. They draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU. I think he went down with an injury. Then they come with Jerick McKinnon, and they realize he's better at catching the ball and blocking out the backfield. Then they go get Isaiah Pacheco from Rutgers, of all places. And this dude looks like a stud. He looked like he should have been in Alabama. Like, so, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he had the high ankle sprain that limited their offense, blew my parlay because he missed the whole drive. I thought Juju was going to have, 55 yards or more. He didn't. But they controlled that game. Once Patrick Mahomes went down, Chad Henne came in. It was Pacheco making runs, quick passes. And then Mahomes came in. He did just enough, but they relied heavily on the running game and throwing it to Travis Kelce. That's how they win the game.
And okay, so you had Pacheco, 12 carries from 95 yards. He led him in rushing. I believe yes. Yeah, he led him in rushing. But the bottom line to me, it's like if you can run the football, the quarterback gets so much credit for wins and so much criticism for losses. But the bottom line is, when I look at the quarterback position, with all due respect, if you just don't make too many mistakes, your team should have a chance to win. Now, Uh, Patrick Mahomes is a superstar, flat out superstar, future Hall of Famer. Still got a lot of career to be played ahead of him. Might be just hitting his prime, but he's a flat out superstar,
5
flat
AFC
out superstar.
championships in a row.
And you look on the other side, Trevor Lawrence. Um, Trevor Lawrence played against him on the other side, his first or second playoff game, right?
Second, yep.
So the thing is, they didn't like Etienne ran the ball pretty well, but he didn't get enough opportunities to run the football. I think that was situational based on the flow of the game. I think they were trailing quite a bit in this game, so they
Yeah.
probably didn't get a chance to. He probably didn't get the carries, the amount of carries he needed to be to carry them to victory. But the bottom line is, if you can run the football, and if the quarterback, he don't have to be spectacular. He just got to be able to limit the mistakes and make the available plays. And that's what we're going to look at in pretty much every game that was played over the weekend.
And it like we just talked about Chiefs, Jags, and as you just keep rolling through the schedule of games, how they happen that week, the example is drilled home every single game. And I'm waiting till you get to it so I can just go ahead because I watched every single moment of it except for Eagles and Giants. I flexed out of that and started watching college basketball.
Well, see, that's another thing. See, that's the game that I really started paying more attention to was the Eagles in the Giants game because all of the talk about the quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts. This is Jalen Hurts' stat line: 16 for 24, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But the Eagles ran the football for 268 yards. Gainwell, 12 carries for 112 yards.
He's the backup.
Ma- yeah, Miles Sanders, 17 carries for 90 yards. Gainwell had a touchdown as well. But a combined with Gainwell, Sanders, Hurts. Hurts had 9 carries for 34 yards. Boston Scott had 6 carries for 32 yards, accumulating 268 yards on the ground. Okay, and that was the biggest rushing total for a team this weekend. But if you can run the football and if your quarterback just don't make the mistakes, you're pretty much going to win. That's pretty much the formula for winning football games in the NFL.
Well, because it's all about once you get ahead, it's all about shortening the game. Jalen Hurts, to your point, all he had to do was make a few plays. He hit what's his name, Devontae Smith, on the first drive, deep pass. He hit him. Then he hit him on a touchdown, and he hit Dallas Goedert on the little shallow crossing route. Dallas Goedert did all the work. It was a shallow. So you control the clock. If you stay ahead of the chains, you stay out of 3rd and 7s and longer. It's what is it? It's academic at that point. If you running the ball, what they had 268. I don't know what that comes down to over what. That's more than 5 yards a clip.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah.
It's 1st and 10. So that means every 2 times we running the ball, we getting the first down. It's academic at that point. Now, where you need the quarterback to be able to throw the ball and push the ball down the field is kind of when the running game ain't working or you behind or somewhere like that. Then you need the quarterback to be able to make those plays. But as long as you can stick to your formula like the Eagles have done all year, I think they was second. I know they top 5 in the league in rushing because I know the Bears was first. 49ers got to be up there at the top 2. So
I don't know if the Bears finished up first, but I know they were one of the top ranking rushing teams in the league for quite a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like I said, it's just academic. Stay out of 37 and longer.
Yeah. The Eagles were 44 for 268 yards. with 3 rushing touchdowns as a team, averaging 6.1 a carry. I mean, you like you said, second and third down, you got 2 downs to pick up 4 yards. Pretty
Right.
much,
And
that's
what
pretty much what it come down to.
and what does that make the defense do? If you gashing them for 6 yards a carry, that means we got to bring more down in the box. So what does that open you up to? Play action pass. You're not going to be able to sit there and play coverage and play a zone because we can't stop them with the front four. So we got to have more in the box than they do to have a chance to get off the field. And then in obvious passing downs, we coming. We got to come. We got to get you off the field.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, okay, so the Giants they look really good against the Vikings the week before. They could pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. Daniel Jones looked like he was like coming of age, and he struggled against the Eagles. Um, but when the Giants were winning football games under is it Brian Dabo?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Dabo, yeah.
Dabo, the new coach. All I could think about was the New York Giants are the 2018 Chicago Bears. The
What's up?
reason why I say is because you got a new coach, offensive guru coach, a quarterback that was somewhat limited at quarterback coming in, and he had to take this quarterback and get the best out of him. Now, Saquon Barkley, the number one threat on that team, uh, and they had a pretty good defense, but they just looked like the 2018 Bears. When we talk about the results, as far as like a rookie coach, rookie head coach,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even Dabo may even be in the running for coach of the year. I mean, Shanahan might. I
He
mean,
ain't no
Shanahan done had he done had 3 quarterbacks play his run his offense. So what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So, but Dabo did a hell of a job, and all I could do is think it reminded me of the 2018 Chicago Bears.
But here's the thing about that Giants game though, and not to take nothing away from Daniel Jones, because I do think he can play in New York if they play to his skill set. But them winning that playoff game versus the Vikings, first of all, we all thought the Vikings, and we expected them to choke. We just did. But the Vikings defense was not very good. I think they was giving up over 23 points a game. So that's not a recipe to win win when your defense is doing that. Um, and so the Giants just went into Minnesota. I mean, Kirk Cousins don't put fear in your heart. But again, if they probably would have relied on Dalvin Cook a little bit more in the running game, the story might have been different. But when they played the Eagles is the number one sack team in the league, and I think they was 15 ahead of the next team behind it. So Daniel Jones ran into a quote unquote real defense. 38-7 later, that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. When you talk about Daniel Jones, um, like I say, the week before against Minnesota looked like he was growing and going in the right direction. Then he had to come up and face the Eagles' tough defense, and then they kind of like shortened the game. I don't think he had many opportunities to, I think I have to think that the Eagles won the time of possession. I'm not gonna go back and check, but they just limited his opportunity to make plays. And then once you get up so big, you put more pressure on him to win with his arm and kind of kill the running game with Saquon at that point. Once they got up like 21-0 in this game, it was like, you kind of take Saquon out of the game at that point.
Yeah, and at that point, like I said, that's when I flexed out of it because I mean, you could see that the Giants they wasn't equipped to come back from a hole like that. They didn't have the talent level. But I will say to Daniel Jones' point, I think he should be the quarterback in New York. And if you can somehow bring Saquon back and kind of utilize them in the same way that the Bears use Justin Fields and Khalil Herbert, you got something there because Daniel Jones got some wheels. Dabo's smart
Yeah.
enough to figure that out. They probably need a few more weapons on the outside, kind of like the Bears. But They defense just ain't as bad as ours.
Yeah, I give you that, but I believe Daniel Jones. I do believe that the Giants will draft a quarterback this season. This off season. Um, I- I- One guy that comes to mind, and I think he's gonna be a wild card because he got injured down towards the end of the season. Is Hendon Hooker from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Is to kind of see where he may end up. Considering that he did get injured and did finish the season with an injury, and what his bill of health is right now, going into the combine and the draft itself, it's going to be interesting. But I do think that the Giants will be drafting another quarterback, not so much to replace Daniel Jones, but to compete with Daniel Jones, and also a guy that could prototypically fit what Dabo may have in mind, what he wants to do with his offense. Daniel Jones was a guy he inherited, kind of like Matt Nagy, and that's another comparison. That's why I compare it there too, because he was brought in to maybe try and help Daniel Jones develop. But I have to think that Dabo and the Giants are going to draft a quarterback that they could kind of build up to the scheme, and it's going to be more of a competition thing when it comes to Daniel Jones and whoever the next quarterback, whoever the other camp quarterbacks are going to the next training camp for the New York Giants.
When you said that, immediately what came to mind was maybe Trey Lance would be in play, but then they would have to give up too much because 49ers, they're gonna ask for a haul. I think they solid in running back with Purdy as the guy, maybe bring Jimmy G back as the backup, but because the Giants are in a rebuild mode and they made the playoffs, which is shocking, but they're in a rebuild mode. I don't think they're in a position to give up what San Francisco gonna be asking for,
Mhm.
especially if they decide to bring Daniel Jones back. That don't even make sense to have both of them on the roster.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Saquon as well, because his name keeps popping up in Chicago Bear fans wish list. It just keep popping up on the wish list. And that's gonna be interesting to see what type of offseason he has as well. Um, to kind of move on to the Sunday games, the first game, the Bengals against the Bills, and I want to get back to the importance of the running game again.
Joe Mixon.
So let's see here, Joe Mixon, 20 carries for 105 yards, a touchdown. Collectively, they rush for 172 yards, not as many as the Eagles. Um, and I forget what did we tallied up KC's, right? I can't remember what Kansas City rushed for. I think we said it earlier,
For
but
Pacheco,
a hundred. Go ahead.
Pacheco had 95, but it wasn't higher than these two that we talking about now. I know that
Yeah.
for a fact. Yeah.
Okay, so 172 yards, and they went 27-10. Joe Burrow 23 for 36, 242 yards and two touchdowns. Um, the, I mean, the passing the rating and the percentage for passes was decent. 23 out of 36 completions. 23 completions out of 36 passes. Uh, no interceptions. He took care of the football. But they're comparing him to Tom Brady. That's all you hear. Joe Burrow's the next Tom Brady. And it makes me sick to keep hearing them compare him to this because to Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady let him win a Super Bowl. Let him win a couple Super Bowls before we disrespect Tom Brady's body of work. Tom Brady put in a lot of work to beat Tom Brady. You can't just come out right now. Is that everybody just want to have? They just want to be prognosticators and they just want to make all these big bold predictions. He's Joe Cool. and that's cool enough.
Hey, that's listen. That's he reminded me of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. That's what he looked like to
Yeah,
me. But
he Joe Cool. He not Tom Brady. That's Joe Cool. He's cool enough. You know what I'm saying? Let him do his thing. But before we put him in the Hall of Fame, let him win a Super Bowl. But like I said, he didn't make many mistakes. He went on the road in Buffalo and diced up that defense, which is another thing we need to talk about. Because without Von Miller, that defense just don't look at the same.
average.
And you got it. I mean, what you think?
Listen, the defense. I know Von Miller was out. The who was the safety that started? Not Damar Hamlin, the guy he actually replaced. Was it Porter? Maybe he's an All-Pro safety. He was out, so obviously the defense was already down. Then you got Brett Favre on the other side. I think he just had one interception. But when you said the comparison of Joe Burrow to Tom Brady is the one that's getting on your nerve. The one that's getting on my nerves is the Josh Allen to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, because Josh Allen has not won anything. Anything. He has not played in the AFC Championship game. He has not won an MVP. Nothing. Okay?
You sure? You sure he hasn't played in an NFC Championship game? Cause I'm a big fan of my boy Jason Whitlock. I mean, he's growing on me, and
Listen,
he had the same thing. But I think he said that the Chiefs did the Chiefs beat the Bills in the 2020 AFC Championship game.
2020, that was the Chiefs and the Buck. I think you're right. And that's when Stephon Diggs played on. Okay. I give you that. I give you
So
that.
he did play in the
He
AFC
played
Championship game.
he played in the AFC Championship game. My fault for the oversight, but he did not win it. So
Yeah.
he still hasn't. My point still remains. He has not won anything. Last year he lost in the divisional to the Chiefs. Let's just start with the people they comparing him to. Patrick Mahomes. 5 straight AFC Championship games. 2 Super Bowl appearances. 1 Super Bowl ring. He's got an MVP. Joe Burrow. 2 straight AFC Championship games. Has a Super Bowl appearance. No MVPs yet, but we can say he's won something in this league. What has Josh Allen won to be mentioned in the same category as these guys? And he turns the ball over like crazy. I don't even understand it. I think the better comparison is Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Talented guys have not won nothing.
Maybe even Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson was the MVP.
He got
Yeah,
an
but
MVP, but I would still kind of put him in that category because I don't think he's on the level of Burrow and Mahomes. But let's get the comparisons right, people. Like, come on now. We know Harold Miner came out. He was supposed to be Baby Jordan. Then there's like, come on. I just want the comparisons to be accurate. That blows me when people say stuff like this.
yeah. It's almost disrespectful to the guys they comparing them to because of the body of work that they put in just to get to that point. Tom Brady goes from damn near Mr. Irrelevant to a legend. And then you want to take a guy that's like show you a couple, 2, 3 seasons of success, and you want to put that up against 20 years of excellence.
it's,
Come on, man. I'm not going for it. I'm a 3 year guy. I'm a 3 to 5 year guy. These guys are good, but they're not legendary yet because they got to put some hardware on their hands. Go get a ring, go get two. Then we could talk about the Tom Brady comparison. I
and
mean,
I don't even think we can compare Tom Brady to anybody. Like
not right now.
he's just in the league by himself.
Right now, yeah. The only ones closest to chasing him that's still playing right now is Patrick Mahomes, and as long as Aaron Rodgers, I mean, you got to win at least two
And
to
he's not
get
in
it.
the conversation.
Yeah,
He can't be.
yeah. You got to get at least two to be putting that. I mean, come on, you just got to get at least two Super Bowls to be putting that because hell, you could be Joe Flacco,
There you
you
go.
could be Brad Johnson,
Trent Dilfer.
you could be Trent Dilfer. I mean, you get where I'm going here. You
Listen,
could be one and done. We talked about the whole Dan Marino thing. He didn't win. He didn't win the Super Bowl. He got there once and didn't get back.
Hey,
So I'm just not big on the comparisons until they got a better body of work. And I know they want to sell us. They don't have to sell me and you. We gonna watch these games regardless. But they sell the casual fans that all these narratives, and I guess to get them to sit down and watch these games. But it's a bunch of hype to me. I mean,
it's
don't get me wrong, no disrespect, but I just think it's a lot of hype.
it just gotta make sense. I mean, Josh Allen, like I said, he's Brett Favre to me, and I'm gonna keep calling him that. I'm gonna keep. I was glad Buffalo lost that game, but I wanted them to lose because he threw some interceptions, and it didn't turn out that way. But they still going home, so now we ain't got to hear about Josh Allen no more.
Last but not least, the biggest game that I felt like, and I don't know if I told you this last week, but I just felt like whatever quarterback, the key is not to make the mistakes. Whoever doesn't make mistakes win the game. The Cowboys go into San Francisco, lose the game 19-12. Now, I want you to elaborate on this because I'm gonna give you my opinion next.
That game was 9-9 going into the fourth quarter. 9-9. That game was right there in the balance for either team to win. Dallas defense played a hell of a game. They held Christian McCaffrey. I think he had less than 40 yards. Debo was not effective. Like, that was an old school slobber knocker football. Like, defense was on the field, and then both of them came to play. And it came down to which quarterback could make just a couple plays and not the big mistake.
Yep.
Purdy made just a couple plays that he needed to make. Now he did. I think he made some ill-advised throws, but he got away with it. Dak, he made those ill-advised throws, and he paid for them. And this is what we have seen from Dak. It blew my mind because it was a long time ago. A long time ago that Dak was out with the broken thumb or whatever. Remember? So when they said that he led the league in interceptions, I'm like, okay, well, he just had a bad year. And he played 5 less games than everybody else. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And that game is solely on him. It's solely on him.
Yeah, but it's a tall task when you go out and you got to play against the 49ers defense. But when you look at the big paycheck that he got, the big payday he got, hey, you got to come to play and make the plays. But you said it, when the Bears played, the Cowboys early in the season. They scored a ton of points. They have a lot of weapons on offense, but you just didn't believe in Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? And you said it. He's not that. He's not that. You kept saying it. He's not that.
And he led us back in that game.
Because he threw. Yeah, he did. He threw a pick. He threw three. I know he threw at least one pick to Eddie Jackson.
Yeah,
Maybe was it one or two? Maybe one. I know he threw one to Eddie.
Because remember they ran out, got out to a hot start, and then we came. I think we got that thing back to like 29-27 or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's just. I know Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones got to be thinking about who can I unload this dude for, because he just.
Well, that pay. That contract might not be able to be, and then he ain't playing that well. Who's gonna go get him and say, you're looking at the way he's playing? Who's gonna go trade for Dak Prescott right now? With that kind of money and the way he's playing football, if you're trying to win a championship, I think what they need to do, the Cowboys need to reevaluate how they're looking at their offensive football team and the guy they got, the signal caller. You're not going to win because of Dak Prescott. And I think that's the thing. you can't put Prescott in position to make mistakes. You can't ask him to do too much. And I think when he came back, they wanted to put him in a situation where, Dak is just as good as a lot of the other young quarterbacks in the league. And now it's his time to show.
He's not.
And coming out of Texas, what did he coming out of?
Texas A&M.
Mississippi State,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. Mississippi State. Yeah,
Come out of Mississippi State. Uh, he was good, but you never really thought that he would be a superstar. And it's like I said, it's like he the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. It's a lot of mystique. I mean, and I think he's benefiting more from that than anything. I don't want to. He ain't no slouch, but he's like far from a superstar.
he's
I
middle
think
of the
they
road.
need to reevaluate what they're asking him to do.
Yeah, he's a middle of the road quarterback. And let's keep it all the way 100. The reason Dak Prescott got drafted, remember that his final season at Mississippi State? Remember they was ranked number 1, and like in the early to mid part of the season, they was the number 1 team in the country, and then they got knocked off, and then they started losing. Then he goes in the 4th round, I think he was a 4th round pick. Tony Romo goes down. He comes in, no expectations. Zeke leading the league in rushing. It gets to the playoffs. So it was like, okay, well, we kind of got to go with the kid. But I think I'd rather have Derek Carr.
That's interesting.
I'd rather
And
have.
it's interesting. It's interesting you talked about Dak's rookie season and how he got
Look
an
how they play.
opportunity to get on the field
Yeah.
because it's the perfect segue into his uh, foe on Sunday, which was Brock Purdy. Kind of in the same situation. Two quarterbacks go down, Brock Purdy go out. Just don't lose the game. Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy, this is his stat line: 19 for 29, 214 yards, no touchdowns,
No picks.
no interceptions. Just don't lose the game. But the way they sell the game to us as the fan is they're going to sell you Brock Purdy like he's,
Joe
you
Montana.
know, yeah, and it's almost like they even threw some comparison. They want to throw some comparisons to Brock Purdy on Tom Brady. I mean, due to the draft status, the comparable draft status. I
Yeah.
get it, but the kid went out, didn't make any mistakes. He had some close calls, but he didn't make any big mistakes, and his team won. Now I want to look at the rushing statistics. Now they only rushed for 113 yards. They were going up against the Dallas Cowboys. And when I think about it, that Christian McCaffrey trade was bigger than I thought.
They ain't lost the game since he been there.
Because if you take Christian McCaffrey off of this team, they were already a very talented team. But if you take him off of this team right now, they probably wouldn't even be here.
Right.
As talented as they were coming into the season. I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. Like I said, the team that runs the football the best wins the football game. But the narrative they give us is the quarterback, quarterback, the quarterback, the quarterback, the quarterback. Out of all the quarterbacks that we saw this weekend, Dak Prescott played the worst.
Colin Cowherd said it best. He said, Dak Prescott is Kirk Cousins with better branding.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that as well. And it slipped my mind to bring it up.
It was perfect.
Great.
It was
I'm
perfect.
glad you brought it up because it's a very good comparison. And my whole thing is, as we watch these playoffs, and we're gonna touch on some NBA narrative too, because this sports entertainment thing is real, and I'm gonna tell you why I say this. But as we wrap up and we going into the divisional championship playoff games this Sunday coming up, uh, I don't know who's playing first and who's playing second, but I know
NFC start kick it off. So we got 49ers and Eagles at 2 p.m. Central. And then at 5:30, we got the AFC Championship Bengals and Chiefs.
I mean Patrick Mahomes. Just to get back on him, man, going out of that game, the ankle sprain and coming back, man. I mean, I don't know what his health is going into this game, but I don't know if we ever. I don't. Well, I shouldn't say this, but I don't know if we had as good a divisional matchup for championship matchup games for the division for the right to go to the Super Bowl. I can't remember the last time the games were this evenly matched
Yeah.
because it's tough to call. I mean, because okay, you got the Eagles, really good defense, power running game, young quarterback in his third season, blossoming, and then you can pretty much say the same thing about the 49ers. Really good defense, young quarterback, playing steady, mistake-free football, really good running game. But it's kind of hard to say who you can pick to win this game. I don't even know. I don't know. Can you go out on that limb? Because I know I can't.
Listen, I can't and I won't, but this is what I was rooting for, especially on the NFC side of things. I said if we don't get 49ers Eagles for the NFC Championship, then like I'm not even I'm not even excited about it. I think Roger Goodell and I was gonna say Paul Technic, but Roger Goodell is sitting up in the NFL headquarters office in New York, loving it because he know the ratings is about to be through the roof this weekend. It's the best thing that you and either matchup, whatever we get for the Super Bowl, is gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah.
If we get Burrow Eagles, we get Burrow 49, it's gonna be a good matchup. So at this point, it's a good time to be a fan. I'm sad that we only got 3 games left of the season. This thing came and went real fast.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, as a fan though, I mean, man, get your popcorn ready. Sit in the house. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Make sure all the diapers is changed. Listen, you know where I'm at.
And see, that's the thing is okay. Now the narratives going into this weekend are going to continue to be the quarterback. What else are they going to talk about? But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna stay consistent. So I can't pick a winner, but I'm gonna stay with the trend and the consistency. The teams that run the football the best will win the football games in both of the matchups.
I give
Point
you,
blank.
I give you
Now,
that.
when you think about the Chiefs, you don't think about the rushing game. Uh, I think the Bengals may be a tad bit better rushing the football. But the best team running the football right now is the Eagles. So if you're just gonna go based on that, me personally, and that means the Eagles might win the Super Bowl. But I'm just gonna stay consistent with that. The best team, the team that runs the football the best is gonna win both of these games. And I think that formula is gonna hold up all the way through the Super Bowl.
Hey, I'm just here to watch it. I'm just here to watch the game at this point because, like I said, we got the 4. I think we got the 4 best teams in the league playing
Yeah.
for the right to go to the Super Bowl. I think I would have been a little disappointed if Buffalo had made it, and then we had to deal with that whole neutral site championship game. But I don't think they was one of the best teams, especially when you look at how Von Miller was out, safety was out, the whole DeMar Hamlin situation. I don't think they was one of the best teams. So this is like The committee went in the room and they said these are the 4 best teams, and we put them in the Alabama Invitational, aka the college football playoff. They got it right. The best teams are there, so I'm just excited for it, man. And I'm not gonna make a pick because I'm gonna just watch it, eat my popcorn, and
Yeah.
be happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna hold with that. I'm gonna hold with that prediction. I'm gonna hold with that formula. The team that rushed the football the best, with all of the quarterback talk and all of the quarterback hype, the team that rushes the football the best is going to win the games. That's what I think. Now, the interesting thing gonna jump off of this. We're gonna wrap up. We talk about sports entertainment. Oh boy, I just got to bring it up because I'm trying to get into the NBA. Every time I try and get into the NBA, something happens. Two things though. We talked about a little bit about college basketball. Houston going down to Temple. They were the number one team in the country. They go down to Temple, and then Purdue's been put back in the number one ranking. Kansas lost a couple games to Baylor, and was it TCU?
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Yeah.
The purples got me going.
Yeah.
Uh so one thing that crosses my mind is, remember when at this time of the year you're getting into conference play, things probably pretty much getting ready for the tournament. It was always one player that they brought up and they hyping them up for the NBA draft, possibly even two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this modern day of sports entertainment, that's not this. It's not this. It's not what it was. College basketball is not being marketed to us the same.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Victor, I forget the kid's name in the G
Bombay
League.
or whatever you talking G League. Yeah.
Waminyami.
Yeah.
Sports entertainment is alive and well. Now, if you remember, just past week, the Bulls went to France, played a basketball game against the Detroit Pistons, and they took a lot of legends. They took a lot of legends down there. Magic Johnson was down there representing. Ben Wallace was down there representing, and I believe uh Hamilton from the Pistons.
Rip.
Rip Hamilton from the Pistons, and Ben Wallace. They were all out. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying to myself, okay, Magic is over there. They couldn't get a. Maybe I missed it, but they couldn't get another legendary Bull, a Scottie Pippen, or Michael Jordan. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. But Victor, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but we will figure this out. The reason why is because they're gonna make us figure it out.
They gonna make us.
They are marketing this guy as the number one pick in the draft. And all I could think about is, damn, I feel like they did me like I feel like they did this before. They did this with LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
They did this with Zion Williamson. I mean, to this degree,
Yeah.
but never before. But LeBron was a high school player in high school.
Yeah.
Zion was a college player in college.
But remember, we have been seeing Zion videos since about
Yeah,
seventh, 8th grade.
yeah, he went viral, and his reputation grew from there. Freakish athlete, but but we just sit back and we just talked about the number one teams, a couple of top teams in college basketball, but those teams, those guys aren't being propped up as like future number one draft picks. It's Victor Dub. Ain't that Victor V Dub? V Dub. I'm calling V Dub right now. I'm gonna call him V Dub. Until I get it figured out, I'm gonna call him V Dub. 18-year-old kid, and he was in Paris, France, and took some pictures with Magic. I saw it on his social media, Instagram with Magic, and I'm like, man, the NBA is really going WWE right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Vince McMahon has influenced the whole Major League Baseball need to catch on to this.
and that's why they falling behind. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because the NBA and I'm about to disappoint you right now because all I could think about was I'm quite they selling us this. It, it just make I question even Michael Jordan's career now. I mean, did they sell us Mike or did Mike just happen? Okay, so this is my thing. It's like okay, so Magic and Bird were known for the guys that saved the NBA. The NBA
sports
had a bad
entertainment,
image.
sports entertainment.
Well, well, at that time, remember, at that time they was playing playoff games on tape delay. Okay, they didn't have the television revenues at that time.
But
But what I'm saying is
I'm
the
just talking about
evolution.
the marketing of how they put Magic, Bird.
Yeah,
We got West Coast, East Coast, black, white, sports entertainment. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah, it was marketed, but the machine wasn't that powerful. I mean, it wasn't that powerful. The TV revenues hadn't exploded yet. So, but yeah, they do get the credit for like kind of saving the NBA, and the NBA was forced to clean up their image behind these two guys, and then you get Michael Jordan that changed the whole landscape of marketing and finance throughout the whole league, from Nike to Gatorade and all that. And it's like it turned the whole league like into this big conglomerate global by the time you go to the 92 dream team. And it's like the NBA like, oh man, we can't let this fall off. So now we done got they done crossed over throughout the world,
mm-hmm.
and it's like they willing to do anything to sell us to keep us on the hook. I mean, you know good basketball when you see it. I think I do too. But I mean, it just like they just trying to keep us on the hook right now. We got to keep this thing rolling. They selling us guys now, and I believe that's what happened with. I don't want to discredit LeBron James' career, but I can see what's going on now. It's like they selling us guys. This G League thing is about to be different. The high school basketball player is going to have to do with the NIL. You're going to have to, you can either go to college or go to G League. It's about to change for real.
But I think the reason why we so, I guess, I don't want to say anti, but just not on board with it is the brand of basketball that's being played. If the brand of basketball being played was more guys taking advantage of the mid-range game, it wasn't so much switch. Every pick and roll is switched. It's a little bit more point guard play, a little bit more strategy in it, a lot more defense. Every game shouldn't be. I mean, regulations games, they getting 130 points. If it was more, I ain't even saying the 90s. If it was more like late 2000, 2010 basketball, I think we would be more interested. But because of the brand of basketball that they trying to force down our throat, and then they trying to sell us kids like V-Dub, and they trying to sell us kids like Giannis, who Giannis, I can't take nothing away from him, but he ain't really got no moves. He ain't got no moves. If you wall
Okay,
him up, what happens? They probably not gonna beat you 4 times out of 7 out of the series.
maybe to Giannis' credit, since he won that final, I wasn't really. I thought he was a banger type of ball player, kind of bulldozing his way. I think he's gotten a little bit better with his mid range and his 3 pointer and his 3 point shooting. But uh, up until the time he won the championship, I was not sold on Giannis. But I think I can respect what he's doing now. I can obviously tell that he's worked on his game, especially with his mid range and his 3 point shooting. I haven't seen him kind of bulldoze as much. When I do see him play, he don't seem to be as bulldozing as much as he did maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, you're right. Giannis was another guy. I think they want to sell us these guys. Real basketball fans. I mean, I don't know, man. Real basketball fans, you don't have to sell them anything. That's why I believe that I told you with the 3 point shooting efficiency, I really think they need to just get rid of the 3 second defensive call because guys stretch the floor so much better than they did, and the game is played in so much more space to the point where you got to make a decision. You can either guard the rim or guard the line, and you
Right.
only got 24 seconds to get the shot off. I think they just need to get rid of the. I would like to see them get rid of the defensive 3 seconds because no one's playing defense anyway. Just let them make a decision. I mean, just say either you're gonna guard the rim or you're gonna guard the line because guys shoot so much better from 3 point land than they did even 10 years ago. I mean, I I just don't think it'll make a difference in the fan support because I don't think the fans really know what the hell they're looking at because they selling them whatever they want to see.
Yeah, yeah, and Adam Silver, that's that's the brand of basketball that he wanna push out to the younger consumers, and it's sad, it's trickling down. I know you deal with it every day, being a high school
Yeah,
coach and stuff. It's just sad, like some of the gems and the beauty of the game is being lost because we just want to shoot threes. We're gonna switch everything. Defense. What is that? Like I'm here.
yeah.
I'm here to get my 40, so I can get to the next level. Like
Now it's an interesting stat. I could be wrong, but I don't know if you got access to it. But if you look at the league, there's a ton of guys in the league that's averaging more than 25 points a game. There's a lot of players in the league right now that's averaging more than 25 points a game. We might have to go back to that stat later, but kind of take a side note to that. We can probably touch on it next week because as the football season winds down, and then we're gonna go into maybe a little bit of a bye week before the Super Bowl. We're gonna have to amp up our basketball coverage here on Watch the Game podcast. So college and pro basketball are gonna become a little bit more prevalent with us, I believe. But I'm really gonna, like I said, I keep telling you, I'm gonna have to look at the style of play and shoot percentages and stuff like that, and turnovers and stuff like that, rebounding. You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch the game a little different from everybody else. I can't just watch the ball go through the net
yeah,
and guys look like they ballerinas on the floor because that's what it look like. They play defense like ballerinas. You know what I'm saying? Just getting out the way and oh, you got them, you get them, you get them, you get them. Who gonna play? Everybody, 5 guys got to play the ball. You got a guy on the ball, 4 guys attached to the ball. I know this. I just don't see it. I just don't. I see guys.
it's not
It
there.
just seemed like guys getting out the way.
Yeah, it's not. And like to your point, what you just said, and I have it for the next show. But how many guys in the league are averaging over 25? If you just watch the ticker, next time you just watching ESPN, just sit and count how many guys got over 30. And these guys ain't even. We ain't even talking about superstars. We talking about just guys just getting over 30, and it's to the point now like that's not even an accomplishment no more.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with the guys being more ball dominant and getting up more shots. When you talk about guys like the kid in Atlanta, I forget his name, Trey
Trey Young.
Trey Young, and then my man in Cleveland, he put up 69, 70 points on the Bulls earlier this season.
Oh, 71, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell. I believe like the traditional point guard isn't in the game anymore. Like the guy that brings up the ball most of the time is the guy that's taking the bulk of the shots. And when you think about it from a role player standpoint, it's like it'd be hard to for me. Seem like it would be hard to play with guys like that. But I guess the paycheck's big enough. So what the hell? Let him take all the shots.
And then again, back to defense. Where's the pride? Like, man, this dude got 40. somebody, we gonna have to shut him. We fouling him or something. He gets 71.
Yeah. I
Ain't no
mean,
film session. Like, what is? Are they watching film? Are coaches holding people accountable? No. Like, it's only one player or two.
hey,
Kevin Durant should be able to score that many points because he's just so efficient. Kobe should be able to score that many points because he's gonna shoot that many times.
yeah.
Michael Jordan should be able to score that many points. But outside of those guys, like Jason Tatum should not be able to get close to 50. He just shouldn't. He just shouldn't.
I don't think that happens in like not. Don't get me wrong. He's capable on doing it once, twice.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But with the level of consistency that these guys are putting up at least 40 points or better, it's like, come on, man, something's missing. And I
Yeah.
think it's the defense.
Yeah.
This freedom of movement thing has went too far because they're moving. Okay, I'm gonna freedom of movement. I'm just gonna move the hell out the way. I'm gonna get it out the net. We gonna push it up the floor. It's almost like the old school San Antonio Spurs. We gonna shoot more than you, and that's how we gonna beat you. Bottom line, watch the game podcast, man. We gonna have to take a better look at the way the game is played, and maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we enjoy it. I don't think I'm gonna have a hard time, but hey, watch the game podcast, man. We got these NFC and AFC championship football games coming up, and then college and pro basketball about to get tightened up. College about to go into they right in the middle of conference play, and then going into the conference championships, and then the NBA is about to go into maybe your All Star weekend pretty soon,
Yep.
and then your trade deadline, and things gonna happen over there, and we gonna watch it all happen here on Watch the Game podcast. Hey, it's been real, Pen. My man Starang will probably be with us again next week to cut down these championship football divisional championship football games next week. Hey man, it's been real. We went a little long again, but hey, that's what we do.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun, you know?
You know it.